Hi, welcome to our Decoding the New IBM Licensing Structure webinar. How you can look like a rock star. I'm Heather Cole. I'm the president of Lodestar Solutions, and today I'm going to share with you the massive changes IBM has made to the BI licensing structure and how it impacts you. We will also cover licensing structures for FPM, Planning, TM1, and Express. But before we get started, I'd like to throw a little disclaimer out there. This is not intended to be legal advice. The licensing are always subject to change by IBM, and lately the changes have been phenomenal for you guys. So always check with your Lodestar Analytic Advisor or your IBM representative. The views of this webinar are those of Lodestar Solutions and not necessarily those of IBM, because today we're going to share with you some insight how you can really leverage this new licensing model and how you can look like a business analytics expert and ambassador in your organization. So my mission is to show you how you can leverage the new licensing model to promote yourself as the business expert in your organization. I'm going to communicate with you the new licensing structure and give you tools on how you can communicate it to your organization. We're going to help you and your team become more scalable because we never have enough time. We're going to help you learn some tools on how to better meet the needs of the business, because as business analytics professionals, we really need to engage the business users. We're going to help you lead your organization to growth. I believe very passionately that business analytics and data can lead to innovation, and innovation can change the world. You guys are the first step. So before we get started, I want to make sure you don't miss out on our future webinars, our events, our informational newsletters. We are changing our system so that we are using a new, more compliant, spam-related email system. So if you've received our emails and invites over the years, guess what? They're going to stop if you don't proactively go to our website, lodestarsolutions.com, and click in the area that says join for free updates or newsletters. Enter your name and email address. You will then get an email. We need you then to proactively hit the link in that email, and it will confirm that you are wanting to be on our mailing list. We provide great free information. Our goal at Lodestar Solution are to become the leading educators of business analytics by mentoring and coaching you to lead your organization. So please make sure you go to our website and sign up. We want to make sure we see you on our future webinars. Okay. Let's go into what is an expert. So an expert, as we know, is someone that is really recognized as a reliable source of information. They have great skills or techniques, and we go to them for advice, for judgment, because we really respect their opinion. And we want you to be the analytics expert. And to do that, you can't just know the software and how to build a report, but you really need to have more than that. It's the socialized skills, the soft skills of leadership, how to build rapport, how to engage the business, how to get everybody on your own team. And through our webinars, we're going to teach you that. Today, we're going to teach that to you with regard to licensing. So business analytics involves people, processes, and tools in that order. And we're trying to empower you, the people. But today, we're going to focus a lot on the tools part of it and teach you about the licensing. So I'm Heather Cole. I am an expert in business analytics. I'm an executive coach. I happen to be a licensed attorney, but I don't do it for a living. So I have a lot of insight to the legalese of licensing that I'm going to share with you today. I am a self-described socialized nerd, so I'm very much a technologist who has learned to evolve to be very social. I'm really excited to announce that I've launched my new website, heatherize.com, software agnostic website about the social skills to coach and empower you. So check that out too. Okay, so how would you cut your lawn? If you have a weed whacker and a lawnmower and you have a front yard, are you going to use the weed whacker? Probably not. you're going to use the best tool for the job. You want to use the lawnmower, right? And if you have an edger, you're going to use the edger for that, not the weed whacker to do the edging, right? So what we're going to do today is look at the tools that you have, not necessarily in your garage, but in your business analytics licensing. And guess what? I'm so excited to share with you that IBM may have supersized you. So if you got a big lawn and you've been doing the push mower, guess what? IBM may have just given you a riding mower. So we're going to share with that with you today. For those of you that are FPM clients, we're going to share a little bit there. The bulk of this, the end of the presentation, will be about BI licensing. So we'll make sure that we kind of chunk this down for your appropriate areas. So the first step is leveraging the licensing knowledge. You need to know what tools are in your tool shed. So we're going to go through the details of licensing. The next thing you want to do is identify areas to better serve the business. Now that you know what tools you have, what areas can you go serve? You'll then create a plan to deploy the new functionality and communicate the changes and opportunities within your organization. And then you're going to create a training plan to empower your end users. So let's start with FPM and TM1. Some of you may be Cognos planning users. If you are, my encouragement is to get your licensing moved to enterprise planning and consider moving to TM1. TM1 has so much more functionality. It allows us much larger models, larger cube sizes, much simplified maintenance processes, no GTP, no reconciliation. So what you want to do is consider looking at your licensing and looking for the word enterprise planning. If you're an older planning client and the word enterprise is missing from your support renewal, you'll want to move to the new licensing model. We'd be happy to help you with that, because the enterprise planning contributors are allowed to work on planning and or TM1. So that's the first step, so that you don't have to rebuy those licenses. You would need to buy some components of TM1 to use it. We'd be happy to go through that. We do have on our YouTube channel some benefits of moving from planning to TM1, so check those videos out. What I'm really excited to announce is that TM1 now includes metrics and scorecarding in the licensing that you already own. So if you want to start utilizing scorecarding and the robust engine of TM1 to calculate these values that are on your scorecard, that's what's included. We are going to have a session on this as well that will appear in the next couple of weeks on our YouTube channel for scorecarding. So check that out, because the scorecarding is phenomenal in TM1. Many of you may have metrics. We'll talk to you about Metrics Studio and how it relates to TM1 later on in this broadcast. The other thing to note, for those of you interested in Cognos Disclosure Management, which is a really powerful reporting tool with narrative reporting. So if you're doing that currently today, and you're doing that in Microsoft Office products, and it's very laborious, guess what? A lot of that can be automated with Cognos Disclosure Management, also referred to as CDM. Here's what I want you to know. Pricing for the existing TM1 or BI users for CDM, there's a different price level for you. It's a lot cheaper. So make sure when you're looking at this that you get that special friends and family discount. One warning I want to throw out there for all of you performance management users: if you move from TM1 from enterprise planning, do not, I repeat, do not dump your enterprise planning contributor licenses once you've migrated to TM1. The reason is those TM1, the enterprise planning contributor licenses, work on TM1. What we see sometimes is clients will move from planning to TM1. The next year, they're fully off planning. They get their support renewal bill. Someone says, oh, wait, we're off planning. We don't need to renew that. And they dump the licenses. Well, what happens is now they go to upgrade and they don't have the licenses, and they either have to get reinstated or they have to buy them again. We do not want that to happen to you. So please, please, please make certain you communicate to people that you want to keep your enterprise planning contributors. Your enterprise planning modeler license, you could get rid of those if you've fully moved to TM1 and no longer use planning. Okay, So we do have this functionality grid that we'd be happy to share with you. Just send us an email at sales@lodestarsolutions.com, and it tells you what functionality you get with your particular licenses. For TM1 users, the things I want to highlight is that you get three new things that I think are phenomenal. The scorecarding, I just talked about that. The Cognos analysis for Cafe it's been around for a long time. It's now included in the TM1 user licenses. And the Cognos Insight, which is a desktop application that allows us to drag CSV files in, dump them into the application, and it will create a cube for you. At that point, I can keep it on my desktop kind of as a little sandbox to play in, or I could promote it up to the full version. So we have a whole series on that as well, and we'll talk about Cognos Insight a little bit more. But please, if you don't know what Cognos Insight is, give us a call, contact us, and we'd be happy to set up a workshop where you can learn how to play with this. I love Cognos Insight, and here's why. I want to go as a business analytics expert and educate marketing on the tools that we have in Cognos. And the best way for me to do that is to let them test drive it. Well, I don't want to build this whole framework manager package and do all this stuff. I just want to give them a little taste test. So what I can do is I can use Cognos Insight. We can load it on their desktop. We can take one of their CSV files, their data, dump it in, and start playing with it and letting them explore Cognos Insight, setting expectations that this is not the full version. But what it really allows us to do is it allows us to leverage the framework, the foundation that Cognos has, that one version of the truth, but giving the power and autonomy to people that need it. So it's a controlled environment, but allows them to have the personal analytics capabilities that they need. Now, note, Cognos Insight is included with TM1 users. It is also now included in many of the BI users. So we'll go through that in a moment. For Cognos Express users, nothing's really changed. You do have TM1 scorecarding, so we recommend we're doing a user group on that. Actually, coming up this week, it will then show up on our YouTube channel. Check that out. So nothing's really changed for you in this regard, but know that you have Cognos Insight and you have the scorecarding capabilities of TM1, so you might want to look at leveraging those. You also get Cognos Insight if you're an Express user or the BI Express user. If you only have the Express Performance Management user, you do not get Cognos Insight. So at least today, those are the rules. Okay, now let's get to the meat and potatoes. We are into BI licensing. So what IBM did is they really wanted to simplify our lives. Hallelujah, right? So historically, we've had all these different BI user roles, and it's been pretty confusing. So about a year or so, IBM decided to simplify that. And so they created a new licensing model, but they said it was only available to new Cognos clients. So if you already owned Cognos BI, you still bought under the old licensing model. Well, I think the industry kind of criticized them on that a little bit. So IBM changed it effective July of 2014, end of July. They changed it and they said, you know what? We're going to change our licensing model. We're going to simplify it down to a few roles. And those roles are going to be everybody's going to get moved into them. So if you're an existing Cognos BI client, current on support, you are getting magically morphed or modified into this new licensing model. Now, there's a couple that I want to focus on today, and those include the BI Analytics Administrator, the BI Analytics Explorer, and the BI Analytics User. So we're going to give you a little bit easier way to look at that in a moment. So basically, you don't have to worry about trade-ups or anything like that. What's going to happen is you'll probably notice it most at your support renewal time. You don't have to pay an additional cost or anything. They're just going to take your old licenses. For example, if you had a BI professional author, it's going to magically become an Analytics Explorer. This is effective for anybody in Passport Advantage or Passport Advantage Express. If you're on the older FCT licensing model, then those aren't going to morph, so we need to talk separately. But the bulk of you, these licenses are going to magically show up on your support renewal. So don't get confused. You're going to get this licensing support renewal bill that will have Analytics Explorer, and you're like, what the heck is that? So we're going to give you the secret decoder ring. Note, you must be current on support renewal or reinstate for this to happen to you, to get you this new stuff. But you own it today if you're on support. So here's the old functionality grid that many of you are familiar with, that Lodestar's had for years and years and years. The primary roles that we saw people in were right on the left. It's the BI administrator, the BI professional, the advanced business author. And then we had their functionality going across the top. Well, guess what? IBM has supersized us. So under the new licensing model, what I've done here is I've taken my existing functionality grid, and I've basically in blue color-coded the new stuff that your licenses now inherited. So I kind of meshed together the old licensing roles, which are on the left, the functionality across the top. The blue represents new functionality that the existing licenses inherited. And then on the far right, you will see that the parts that those particular users are becoming. So what's going to happen is if you had an advanced business author, it's just magically going to become an Analytics Explorer. I'm going to actually switch over and show you this in Excel. Because I think that it will show it a little bit bigger and a little bit easier to read. So here's my functionality grid. All of these licenses are magically morphing over. So let's take a look at this for a second. Things I'm excited about. All of your business analysts, business authors, business managers now have Report Studio and Event Studio. They also get Workspace Advanced. So they've inherited all of that. Your enhanced consumers just got supersized to include Query Studio, Analysis Studio, Workspace Advanced, Cognos Insight, Report Studio, and Event Studio. You'll note here that your consumers, they didn't change. And that's because there's a kind of a big difference there. IBM is saying, hey, if you're a consumer, you're going to keep the same functionality. If you want to get supersized on the consumer, you will need to trade up. You're going to have to pay for that trade up, and we'd be happy to help you with that. But you get a ton more functionality. On the admin side, let's look at that. Your admin now gets Cafe, but more importantly, it gets the software development kit, the SDK. So a lot of you have been toying with, maybe we need the SDK to do some things. Guess what? The BI admin gets it now. So some of you are thinking, wait a minute, I already own the SDK and I'm paying for support on that. What happens to that? That is something that I would recommend that you discuss with your support renewal specialist. Here at Lodestar, we have Serena is an awesome support renewal specialist. What makes her unique is she actually knows the software and is a certified consultant, but does support renewals. So what we can do is we can go back to IBM and say, hey, wait a minute, let's look at your support renewal bill. You're already paying for it, and try and negotiate that process. But let's look at those BI professionals, professional author, and BI advanced authors. So they also get Cafe, which is Cognos analysis for Excel. So you might want to look at how can we use that? How can we give the business users the functionality, flexibility that they want? Because let's be honest, for those of you that are the managers of your Cognos solution, these departments may be looking at competing solutions. They may be going rogue. They're going out and they're buying competitive solutions because they say, oh, it's quick fix. And what's happening is then if something happens, they expect you to maintain it. Well, we don't want that to happen, right? We want to teach those departments that we have some great tools like Cognos Insight that will give them that autonomy, that personal analytics that they're looking for, but stay within the Cognos family so that we can support it and have one version of the truth. Cafe is Cognos analysis for Excel. You get it with a bulk of the licenses and allows us to explore and analyze data from TM1, from BI, from other Excel systems. We can pull in other data points, and it retains the Microsoft Excel functionality and formatting. Formatting is a big one. I hear a lot of business users going, well, I just like it in a certain format, and Excel can do that. That's why we stay in Excel. Great. We'll give you that functionality. Just use the Cognos engine underneath it so that we can pull data from that framework package that gives us one version of the truth. It also gives us extended analysis capabilities. So if you're not familiar with Cafe, let's get it loaded. Let's start playing with it. And then let's go plan workshops for your business community so you can teach them how to use this. What we find is that a lot of organizations have really skimped on the training of their end users. We at Lodestar recommend that you use some tools like Camtasia to record your training sessions and then put them on a shared drive. It makes you much more scalable. We have some videos on that. We have some blogs on that as well. I have a couple blogs on what tools I use to record our videos, so check those out. They're designed to help you become more scalable. Now, Cognos Insights included in TM1 and a big chunk of the BI licenses. This is the personal analytics solution that empowers users to explore data. It is a desktop solution, but it directly connects to our Cognos environments, both the TM1 and the BI, as well as allows us to drag and drop CSV files in. So what we want to do with this is, once again, empower our end users, or this is a great tool for trying to explore or expand your business analytics tools within your organization. For example, let's say the marketing department uses heavily Excel and they're doing all stuff in Excel, and you go in there and you're like, I just want to show you something that we own today, and it really fits in. It pulls off our data that's been standardized, and we use master data management on it. And you go and you do this little workshop with them, and we'd be happy to teach you how to do this workshop. And when you do the workshop, they're dragging and dropping and creating dashboards, and they're interacting with the data, and now they start to see themselves doing it. And guess what? You look like a rock star when you teach them how to do this. So Cognos Insight, you can download it today. If you go to the analyticszone.com, once again, analytics with an S, zone.com, it's a site written, designed by IBM, and it has a lot of sample information out there, some sample models for Cognos Insight. You might want to grab some of those. If you're going to marketing, maybe go find a marketing model you can show them and let them play with it. What it looks like is this. We literally drag a CSV file in, we can drop it in, and it will create a cube structure. Super easy to use. What I'm finding is a lot of BI experts in Cognos are kind of like dismissing Cognos Insight. They're like, oh yeah, we use Report Studio. Well, great, but don't you want to be more scalable? Don't you want to better serve your business? If so, let's look at Cognos Insight. So I think it's awesome for introducing new departments to business analytics, introducing the new concepts of multidimensionality to departments that might not have experienced it before. If you're a BI client and you want to explore TM1, it's a lightweight version of TM1. If you're a TM1 client and you want to explore BI, it's a lightweight version of that with dashboarding. So it introduces the power of visualization, which is really important to get people to perform. And then it can solve some one-off business needs that we've done a lot of workshops with our clients, and they come off and they're like, oh my gosh, now we can solve this business need that we were challenged with before. So take a good look at Cognos Insight. We will be presenting this at our virtual user group that is being held this Thursday, and that is, again, a live presentation that is done virtually, so you can join that by simply going to our website and going to the events page. It is Thursday, August 21st, 2014. We will plan to record that as well. So things to consider. How can your organization use the new functionality like Cafe, Insight, SDK, Workspace Advance? So I'm a big believer in what I call the Post-it note exercise. And what that is you literally take a stack of Post-it notes and you brainstorm. And for 5 or 10 minutes, write down all the areas of the business how you might be able to use Cafe What departments is it? What specific individuals? How might they use it? Or, what are the demands of the business? And start to brainstorm on that. And then you can organize them. And when you use Post-it notes, I recommend the super sticky. Don't get the cheap ones, get the super sticky ones, because what you want to do is you want to be able to put them on a wall and organize them. And that's really kind of planning out what business areas can you help serve to make yourself be the expert in analytics. Start to consider, if you're a Metric Studio client, it's not on that grid on some of those. If we go back here and I notice I have Business Manager in yellow. The reason I have that in yellow is because that is just staying the same. If you want to move it to the new licensing, some of you have business managers and maybe never deployed Metric Studio, then you might want to consider talking to us. We can try and work out that licensing. Metric Studio is still in the licensing structure here. In fact, a couple components inherited it. But if you're a client and you haven't deployed Metric Studio and you're looking to start doing scorecarding dashboard, please consider TM1. It's so much more robust. We will have a session in our user group on that as well. So the next thing you want to do is consider whether you should upgrade your consumer licenses. Right now, it's kind of up in the air what's going to happen to those in the long haul, but currently IBM has said they're not changing anything with those consumers, definitely into sometime in 2015. So I really recommend that you look at that. Might be a good time to trade those up and get all the functionality, get everybody on the same licensing model. On your support renewals, you might want to ask some questions. Be the educated consumer. Can you drop licenses for functionality you may have bought before that is now included? So you're kind of like doubled up. Some examples of this are the SDK. It's now included in the BI admin. Mobility. Years ago, we used to sell mobility as server and user licenses. Some of you bought that, but a lot of your licenses now have Cognos mobility included in them. The answer to whether you can drop these really is contingent on your particular mix, the price you're paying, and your situation. We'd be happy to educate you on what questions to ask. Non-production licenses. One thing you should note is that there's two licensing models from IBM. There's the PVU and an authorized user licensing model. If you are all authorized users, you do not legally need a non-production environment license, because an authorized user can be used in prod, non-prod tests, whatever. It's a user. Like Betty Lou gets one license. Betty Lou is a user. She can be in all the different environments. Sometimes we see clients that have all their licenses are authorized users, but they're paying support on a non-production license. So you got to ask yourself, should I be? Again, Cafe, for some of you, was a separate license you purchased, and now your licensing mix may include it. So check that out. Ask the questions. Our support renewal specialist, Serena, would be happy to help you and walk you through it. We are more than willing to pull your entitlements and do what we call What the Heck Do I Own sessions with you. It takes about an hour. We walk you through your exact entitlements. We make some recommendations, and we make sure you understand what you own. So, things to note on your support renewal. The next support renewal bill you get is going to have the new licensing names. Please don't get confused. Use our grids. Know that they've changed. The support renewal team at IBM changes a lot, and so they may not know. They don't know the functionality of the software. Their job is to just get you to buy support. So you have to be educated in this. I had one client who had purchased TM1, and many of you may have known that the name for TM1 changed about 8 months ago to Performance Management. So they get their support renewal bill, and they're talking to the support renewal specialist, and the support renewal specialist is like, you don't own TM1. And they're like, yeah, we're pretty certain we bought it. And they didn't know the name changed. So here's this IBM support renewal specialist that was new, so in their defense, but they didn't realize that the name had changed to Performance Management. When we looked at it, when they came to us and said, we're confused, we said, there it is, the name changed. So know that you have to be the educated consumer. So IBM support renewal teams are leading the way in this transition. we'd be happy to double check what they show you're going to own after the migration to the new licensing model. You need to double check your renewals. Sometimes these are done right. Sometimes things get dismissed and suddenly licenses disappear. And the other thing to note on your support renewal bill, IBM sends the bill to the name on record. If it goes to Bob Smith and Bob Smith left the organization and you guys didn't proactively go and change it, it just goes to Bob Smith. If you've turned off his email or whatever, you're just not going to get the support renewal bill, and you're probably not going to go looking for it. So make certain you know who that renewal person is in your organization that's getting the bill and talk to them. It may be someone just in accounts payable. In that case, they're going to go ahead and just automatically pay things. So communicate to them that you want to evaluate it before they pay that bill. Make sure you evaluate your licensing mix and it meets your needs. Renewal time is the best time to trade up. And that's because a renewal, a trade up includes 1 year renewal. So you'll want to make sure that at renewal time, if you want to trade up, you do it then, because then you're not double paying. Watch out for IBM's charging sales tax. Some states, for example, currently today in Florida, if you fill out a download only form and you say, do not send me media, do not send me discs, do not send me anything, I'm going to download it off the internet, there's no sales tax on Cognos software. Other states have other unique laws. Know your state sales tax law, because typically what I've seen is IBM just goes ahead and charges sales tax because they want to be cautious, and I don't blame them, because all the states are changing the sales tax laws. So make sure you're asking the questions for your particular state. Your tax department in your organization should be able to help you with this too. Again, at Lodestar, we'd be happy to help you with this. Our goal is to help save you money, make sure you have the right mix, and make sure you're informed. So here's a little bit of information about us. We are a small business, and we are women-owned. So for those of you that are like government contractors or government organizations, we fit that point system that you have. We have over 10 years in business. We only do IBM Cognos, but we do educational programs that are software agnostic as well. We consider what many people call consultants. We call them coaches, and that's because our job is to make you self-sufficient and independent. We have a number of cool programs for you that are software agnostic, and they apply to all areas of IT. For example, the Psychology of Requirements Gathering is a one-day workshop that has been proven to increase effectiveness in requirements gathering by more than 22% in one day. We can help you with Agile. We have this fun session called Destination Dashboard. What goes on the dashboard, and getting the business to communicate that with you. We can help you with building your Cognos return on investment or cost justification so that you can help get funding. And I particularly love this session called What the Heck Do I Own? For everyone that has attended this webinar, you are more than welcome to reach out to us, and we will do a What the Heck Do I Own session with you, where we pull your entitlements and we go ahead and we walk you through what you own, what that means. We might tell you, oh, you don't really need this license. Let's talk about what you're going to do with that. So what are the benefits of partnering with Lodestar Solutions? We're coaching you for self-reliance, not just consulting. You get, as a partner with us, you get access to all our continuing education programs, our blogs, our white papers, our virtual user groups, our YouTube channel. We also are starting a private YouTube channel that only clients of Lodestar can attend. To get on our mailing list, please go out to our website. If you haven't already done so, sign up. If you've been on our mailing list for years and years, guess what? If you don't go actively do it, you're not going to be on it again. We give discounts on support renewals and licensing for our clients under contract. We allow a free annual review of your licensing and teach you about new functionality and discuss how you can deploy that. We'd be happy to help you get free marketing opportunities with IBM to show your success in Cognos. And we're all about networking you with other people in your industry or people doing similar things so that you can connect with them. So what are the next steps? First, sign up for our What the Heck Do I Own review. We'll pull your entitlements, we'll validate what you own, and we'll review your functionality. We'll give you our new licensing grids. Sign up for our hands-on Cognos Insight workshop. What we do ask if you're a Cognos client, that you just give us an opportunity to quote, because we do take significant time to do the workshop. Just let us give you a quote on your next support renewal bill. You're not obligated to buy from us. We just want an opportunity to give you a quote. In this workshop, if you ask us, we will teach you how to give the workshop so that you can go give it to your marketing or HR or other areas of your organization. In doing that, we'd be happy to coach you on presentations. So look for that as well. We have all sorts of new exciting programs and materials coming out through Lodestar Solutions. And I personally have some coming out from my new heatherized.com website. So we're in the works of creating a whole audible book on how do you do an effective software demonstration. It's probably going to be how to do a demo and not suck. So check that out, because we're really excited about that. Many of you are responsible for doing software demonstrations, but you've never been trained in that. So we're going to give you proven techniques to look like a rock star. Again, don't miss out. Go sign up for our updates. Also, coming up in October 2014 is the IBM Cognos Insight Conference, formerly known as IOD. If you register before October 3rd with our code G14 LODESTR, they dropped the A, you will save $100. That discount code goes away later. So we also have some of our upcoming events include our virtual user group. This is fun. It's fantasy business analytics. We're going to start with an introduction of our lineup. We're going to go into dashboarding, be the number one pick. We'll go into Cognos Insight. What is it? How can you use it? We'll do a little break. Then we'll go into an introduction to predictive analytics. So this is a real basic. What is it? How do I do it? How could my organization use it? The next session is on TM1 Scorecarding. I'm super excited about this because I think so many clients could benefit from good scorecarding tools, and TM1's the perfect place for it. And then I'll be teaching the how to be a business analytics ambassador in your organization, leading the team to greatness. So this, again, is software agnostic, but teaching you how to get noticed, how to be influential, and hopefully get funding, right? And then finally, a very brief section on understanding licensing for anyone that didn't attend this webinar. If you want to sign up, you do have to sign up in advance. Go to lodestarsolutions.com/calendar, or just go to our website, click the events tab, and you'll find these. The second event that we have coming up is September 15th in Chicago, my home sweet home. And the first session is how to inspire executives with business analytics. So these are going to be proven techniques. And how do you build momentum? We're going to show you how to leverage personal analytics. It's a hands-on workshop. And then we're going to go over licensing. If you attend this event, we will pull your specific licensing and share that with you right at that event. And finally, IBM Cognos Insight, formerly known IOD, October 26th through the 30th. Here's my helpful tips on this. 1, discount ends October 3rd. Book your hotel rooms early. They do fill up. You'll end up way down the strip and you will be walking for miles. Register for the sessions early. They too fill up. All the good ones go fast. Wear comfortable shoes. You will be walking a ton. And their floors are terrible for you women out there. The high heels are horrible in this particular venue. Bring Advil and bring Band-Aids. You will have a headache and you will have blisters. Almost guaranteed. My suggestion, do not book yourself on a red-eye home. It's never a good idea. I did it one year. I will never do it again. And please, when you're at IOD, come look, check us out. We will be the pirates. Check out our Lodestar booth so you can find us there. Here's my information once again. Heather Cole. I can be reached by email at hcole@lodestarsolutions.com. You can join me on Twitter at HeatherEyes. And please check out my new website. Very excited about it. Heatherized.com. By the way, if you go to heatherized.com, that's completely separate from Lodestar on the email list. So I will be sending out, we'll be doing updated videos. I have some great ones coming out on how to look great on web meetings with a video camera. I teach you how to get rid of your wrinkles and everything. I have suggestions on how to pick a good mic to record and to have web meetings. So check all of those out. You'll find those out on heatherized.com. And thank you for joining us today. Please reach out to us if you have any specific questions. You can email myself or just sales@Lodestar Solutions, and we'd be able to help you out right away. Everyone have a fabulous day and go make it happen.